Good morning, everyone. My name is Robert Schmid, Deloitte Digital's Chief IoT Technologist, also known as Mr. IoT. I am in San Diego today, as you might be able to see by the boat behind me. This week on Coffee with Mr. IoT, my co-host Rachel and I are talking with Andy Timm, the CTO of PTC and Thingworx, and we want to talk about IoT platforms, IoT technology, and really how is that beneficial for anybody who wants to create value with IoT. So welcome, Andy. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks, Andy.
How are you, Andy?
I'm doing well. I'm in Needham, Massachusetts, and happy to be on your show, Mr. IoT.
So, Andy, I know you just became the CTO of PTC and Thingworx. You and I have met before, and we worked together actually on our alliance. But tell me, what's new since you've become the CTO?
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I started my career with PTC in 1998, working with our PLM software called Windchill. So I was maybe the 35th person on that software, which was an acquisition. So Jim Eppelman, our current CEO, hired me right out of college. So I worked on that for a while. I've left the company twice and started my own small consulting firms and have done played roles in business development and played roles in almost in sales and as a solution architect and as a developer. So I think our CEO, Jim Eppelman, when he brought me back this last time, I was responsible for the success of our partner organization, and Deloitte is turning out to be a fantastic partner. An IoT platform has a requirement for many different partners, but the platform by itself doesn't really do anything. It needs to have hardware to run on and sensors and gateways and integrations to other pieces of software, and of course, smart consultants to kind of teach your clients how to extract value from that. So I had quite a bit of experience in all of PTC's products. Had quite a bit of experience in the strategic side of IoT. I had spent a number of years as a management consultant, and I think you saw an opportunity for me to apply that as the CTO at PTC. So the job responsibility is to continue to be an innovator, to evangelize our software and the platform and the great benefits that we gain by IoT, and then to make sure that vision that Jim said kind of permeates the rest of the organization.
I gotta laugh because, so first of all, I have to say we are cheating today a little bit because in case you're wondering why Andy doesn't come up as big on the screen, it's because the voice comes through a phone that sits on my desk. So it's not me talking, it's actually Andy, but through the voice. But secondly, if my kids would listen to this, I have two boys, they're 17 and 19, they'd be really confused because PTC, we've made PLM, and I'm the CTO. We had like in one sentence three-letter acronyms. So just tell us what's the job of a chief technology officer, and what does PLM stand for, and how does that actually relate to the Internet of Things or IoT? Just
kind of some alphabet soup there, but so PLM is product lifecycle management. PTC no longer stands for anything specific. Our company started in the late 80s as a CAD software, so that's computer-aided design or computer-aided manufacturing. So at one time, the new feature that what we invented as PTC in CAD is called parametric modeling. So in the old days, if you were to create a bookshelf and you wanted to, you'd say 2 feet wide, and the shelves would all fit inside of it, and then you've got instructions to make it 3 feet wide. You'd have to remodel not only the case for the shelf, for the bookcase, but also each shelf. And with parametric modeling, you were able to kind of move one parameter, and everything else would move along with it. So that was a kind of a category killer innovation. So at the time, the company was Parametric Technology Corporation, or PTC. Now we just go by PTC. So there's a great story on how all these legacy products tie together. So if you think about, our kind of sole message is the convergence of physical and digital Lifecycle Management, or SLM, the PTC offers. And those were our legacy products. And about 4 years ago, we started investing. We've probably invested almost $1 billion now in acquisition to complete an IoT platform that is kind of connecting in a digital thread all of those components. So, you are definitely aware of all the great use cases that IoT provides around service, where we can have a continuous conversation with that asset in the field and do predictive analysis and know ahead of time when it's going to break or when it's experiencing an anomaly. And with the rest of our products, we can then go further to make sure that the right people, service technicians, are bringing the right parts to the tractor or whatever the asset is at the right time. So it's the IoT gives us the ability to predict that something is going to fail, for instance, and the rest of PTC's product suite allows us to actually do the right thing with it, including kind of a closed loop engineering cycle where we something breaks repeatedly, we can work the fix into the next release of that product.
So Andy, can I pause you for a second? Sorry, I wanted to kind of jump on one thing that you were saying. So if we were to think of Thingworx and the platform that you provide, I think in prior shows we've definitely gone into some of the use cases and why is IoT cool, and Robert and I can geek out all day. But I want to you're our platform guru today. So we kind of want to drive a little bit deeper, and I come from an ERP background, kind of a little bit of a dirty word these days, and that's enterprise resource planning. Since I know we're acronym heavy this week, but how is today's IoT platforms, how are they similar to the big push that came, I don't know, say 10 years back to migrate everything to an ERP platform? And how is that different than today's world with IoT? Why do we need a Thingworx platform? Why do we need something new? And how is it similar?
Yeah, I think there are similarities. Robert, actually, you and I had a portion of the discussion last week, or earlier this week, I guess it was, that time goes fast. The ERP is, even though it's used by many companies, it still has a relatively small, discrete set of uses, for enterprise resource planning and all of the different modules that companies like SAP have kind of lumped onto that. In the Internet of Things universe, anything could be a use case. There's an endless number of applications. So if I would classify ERP as an enterprise solution, even though it's kind of to be treated as a platform because it is so extensible. But Thingworx is a platform that there really literally is nothing we couldn't come up with and make it do. Given the right partners and time. The trick is getting turning that platform into a solution in the quickest amount of time. My view of the IoT space is that companies are still trying to figure out why should they care about IoT? What's the value you can extract? To compare that to ERP. Deloitte specifically made tons of money over the years, getting really good at explaining to companies why they need to adopt ERP, and you could build a fairly quantified use case and business plan, and could explain.
So more agile in nature then, so versus ERP where you have to know all your requirements going in and kind of build from the ground up. This is you're saying the beauty of an IoT platform is it's more flexible in nature, and you can kind of find value in different segments at a quicker pace and more flexible, or?
Yeah, a little bit, yes. My view is that, not very many companies probably have IoT in their forecast, IoT budget. They're still trying to figure out what that value is. The value return from ERP is relatively well known. The value of IoT is still difficult, so the platform needs to be able to be iterative and flexible and be able to try things quickly to show what that value is. And that's really been the focus of Thingworx, is building applications quickly.
For Robert to give our Deloitte spiel on delivery and IoT. Ready, Robert? Ready, go.
Oh, you want me to talk about big, start small, and skip fast?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think the thing, Andy, what I'm curious from you is, right, anywhere I go, people talk, they have a platform. I almost feel like calling it an application today is a dirty word. unless you have a platform, that's where the people want to invest. And I think it's a little overused. The thing I'm curious of is when we talk about IoT and we say start small, you can today start small with pretty much anything. I can go down to Fry's, buy a Raspberry Pi. That's the computer. Cheaper than I can actually buy the real Pi and just do some coding. So, but that's not going to help me scale. So what about Thingworx makes it different? What do I get with Thingworx that's going to make it easier for me to scale?
Yeah, that's a good point. I was at an IoT conference. I don't remember when it was, somewhere on the West Coast, and one of the analysts was telling me that there were over 350 companies that had checked the I'm an IoT platform box.
Wow.
Which is incredible. So I think for some people, the definition of an IoT platform is they have a PowerPoint deck that says we're an IoT platform. My definition of the platform, and it's kind of a self-serving definition because we're the only platform that fits all these, is we've got connectivity nailed. We can connect to any device, any piece of software. We have one of our acquisitions is a company named Techware that has some 150 or so industrial protocols. We can plug into a PLC, a programmable logic controller in a factory, and immediately have that data available to us in a useful way. So the connectivity is important. We make it very easy to connect to that Raspberry Pi. You don't need to be focusing on writing Python scripts or C++ code or whatever it might be. And then we've got what we call our application enablement platform, or AEP, which is the ability to build applications consuming data from the edge or from another enterprise system or from a REST API call, whatever it might be. We've got a whole set of modules that make it easy. So users and groups and access control and notifications and alerts and all the different UI widgets that you can imagine are available. Very quickly take that data and turn it into something useful. The idea is to get people focusing on the business value, not on the underlying protocols and kind of edge connectivity issues that are our kind of tagline is we do the hard stuff so you don't have to. So adding to the industrial and edge connectivity and the application enablement platform, we also have an integrated analytics package. So one of the acquisitions is called ColdLight. That's very tightly integrated. So if you've got information, data coming from a device in the field, we make it simple to funnel that information into the analytics platform and start doing some predictive modeling. And then the final piece that definitely differentiates PTC is our acquisition of a company called Euphoria, which is an augmented reality and virtual reality platform. So we're able now to very quickly, and when I mean very quickly, it's in minutes or hours, build augmented reality experiences that can consume and display that data that's collected from your edge. So as an example, we could go into a factory and plug into a PLC and do some very simple configuration and build an augmented reality experience probably in an hour or so that would allow you to point your iPhone at some piece of industrial equipment and overlay through the camera on your phone, overlay real-time data, temperature, vibration, or RPM right onto that industrial equipment.
So basically, Andy, instead of kicking a ball at a machine in Pokemon Go, I can actually see what's going on in the machines in real time for temperature, vibration, and so forth through your augmented reality, right?
Yeah, that's right. That whole Pokemon Go was fantastic because it kind of introduced AR to the mainstream, and now we're trying to introduce AR to the enterprise.
Yeah, so augmented reality in real life rather than through balls. Hey, I just want to say, if you're just joining us, I'm Robert Schmid, Deloitte Digital's Chief IoT Technologist, and you're watching Coffee with Mr. IoT. Today, Rachel and I are having Andy Timm, PTC's and Thingworx CTO with us, their Chief Technology Officer. Rachel, I know you want to geek out on something. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Andy, I got questions for you. So, one of the things I think we saw, in bringing together lots of sensors with distinct, processors, distinct computing power, battery life, etc., is that by trying to normalize all those gateways and APIs, it sometimes is a challenge because they are so different. You know, what do you do on the edge? How do you bring things in at a regular cadence? How do you do all that? And your product, you know, if I were to kind of dive into the platform, the Thingworx platform, kind of solutions for that. So how did you guys go about solving that, and what should people think about when they're connecting different sensors with distinct different requirements?
Yeah, we have a concept that we call the Thing model, and this is our way of kind of turning assets at the edge into kind of software objects. So if you've got a pump that sits in a factory that has vibration sensors and an on-off button, you know, whatever sensors and services, you know, that could be enacted on that pump. We turn those into kind of like a Java object, so that it kind of is an abstraction that wraps that physical object into a digital object. It makes it easier to work with. So you have two sets of resources, one that focuses on kind of the bits and bytes of getting the data off of the sensors into the platform, and one that focuses on the business value. So in that way, you know, it's kind of a hub and spoke model where you're still going to have to build that integration to the different types of things that you need to connect to, but once you get it into the IoT platform, everything looks the same and acts the same and makes it easier to work with. That's kind of where you're going.
Andy, question for you. I have heard the term digital twin a few times before. I personally like it. I'm always worried when I talk about a machine to call it a digital twin. I'm okay. I'm always wondering, when are we going to start making digital twins of myself or Rachel? She's laughing. But what do you think of that term? Is this something that you relate to?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is actually core to our strategy. And the digital twin, I think, you know, that's something that we need to probably get more crisp on, because lots of different companies are using it. But I don't know that PTC has a well-published definition. But in my mind, it's creating a digital representation of a physical object. Let's go back to our pump. You know, we could have all of the sensor data coming from that pump, you know, presented in a digital model, but it's much more than just the digital, you know, the sensor data. We can also tie to that digital twin analytic data and maybe even simulation data, as well as, go back to my definition of PTC's legacy products, we can go get the CAD model for that thing, and we can go into the PLM system and find, you know, change requests. Are there parts on this that are about to, you know, go out of, you know, no longer be supported, and we can go back into your ERP system and see, you know, where are there other parts in stock. So all of the information that can be collected about that physical piece of equipment, you know, sensor data and all the real-time things, but as well as relevant information in other enterprise systems, gets collected together in this digital twin. And that's kind of where, you know, you also hear this term digital thread. You know, some piece of that pump breaks. You know, say we go back to my augmented reality example, you could look at this through an iPhone now, or in the near future, some wearable glasses, and see, you know, what is broken or what is predicted to break, and then you could kind of click into that and find out, you know, where is the replacement part, who's the last person in engineering that worked on that part. Anything that you would typically have to deal with any number of different systems is all kind of collated together and put into that digital representation.
So Andy, thank you for that. That's great. It's interesting how you think of a digital twin, and you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing where you're going to take that from a PTC point of view, because you do have actually a lot of different components, starting with the drawing in computer-aided design, all the way to what actually happens on the two sensors in Thingworx. Andy, different question for you, and just really, we have about another 4 minutes. We're almost getting to the end of Coffee with Mr. IoT, and my closing question for you is really around your role. In my career, I've always found that some companies go by growing naturally. They develop products in-house, and often those products are very integrated and look very homogeneous. And then you have companies like PTC who, over time, purchased a variety of different software. I always found that must be a really interesting challenge as a CTO to get all these different products from all different heritage to present one picture. So tell me, how is this as a CTO of a company that purchased 10, 15 different products? What's that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, I've been in this role for less than 2 months, but I was, a lot of the work that I was doing, I call it edge innovation. I was out, in the field trying to put these pieces together in meaningful ways that would prove the value of IoT and also turn it into something that people would want to buy. So there is a huge effort internally for us at TTC to very tightly integrate these products. I mentioned that Thingworx is about making things easy. All of the products that we acquire, that's been a common theme. The analytics engine is there to get you results fast, to reduce the dependency on data scientists. The augmented reality portion allows us to build applications very fast. Kepware is about getting data off of PLCs without people have to doing any type of, they don't need to understand the protocol is there just to get that data out quickly. We're taking that easy to use theme up a notch and making sure that all of those pieces function together as one. So when you have
sounds like an easy job, Andy. Sounds like it's a no-brainer. Pretty simple. I don't get what the big challenge is. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Totally kidding. Sounds like you.
But it's
sounds like you have your work.
That is part of my role and a big part of it. And you asked kind of what my job description is. Well, typically I think the CTO of most companies is there to kind of set a technology vision. We happen to have Tim Heppelman, who was previously the CTO of this company, and when he brought me on, he said, you're going to have kind of a different type of role because I don't need a whole lot of help from you on setting the technology strategy. I kind of got that covered. So
nice.
My place, but yeah, it's definitely a big part of the strategy to get these pieces to work very well together as if they were one.
Perfect.
Hey, it's nice to have a boss who knows what you're doing, I think.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I hate to say it, but it looks like this coffee break is coming to a close. So thank you so much, Andy. This is Andy Timm again, PTC and Thingworx CTO. So thank you for joining us for a great conversation. Join Robert and I every week, same time, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And if you missed any Coffee with Mr. IoT, please go back and you can check out any of our episodes on Robert's YouTube channel. And we've got some great guests coming up, Robert. I'm pretty excited. We've got our Chief Technology Officer of Deloitte, Bill Briggs, will be joining us. We've got Reg Sendergass from who's kind of like the wearables guru in that space. We're gonna have him join us, and we got some other cool folks coming along too. So stay tuned for cool guests coming up, and thank you again for joining us for this Coffee with Mr. IoT. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks
Bye.
for having me.